Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
The North Carolina Department of Cultural Resources is winding down its second Saturday program that combines arts and heritage with food and fun at all 37 of the state's museums and historic sites. Secretary Linda Carlisle stopped by our studio recently to talk about the event and other cultural projects in our state.
Secretary Linda Carlisle, welcome back to North Carolina Now.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here, Shannon.
The North Carolina Department of Cultural Resources is hosting its next Second Saturdays event coming up Saturday, August the 13th. Tell us about how you got the idea for Second Saturdays and what you're trying to accomplish with these events.
Well, North Carolina has such a rich heritage in our state, and we are so fortunate to have 37 historic sites and history and maritime museums that totally cover our state. And so last year we started thinking about how we could put something together that really focused in on all of those wonderful resources, and decided that the summer months were a great opportunity to, one, provide free, wonderful events for our citizens, and also to focus in on those folks who are visiting North Carolina during the summer. So we started it last year. This is our second annual Second Saturdays, and this will be our final one this Saturday for this season.
So for people coming out to one of the historic sites or one of the museums, what will they find? Oh,
they'll find just a wonderful array of activities, everything from music to dance to storytelling. If you're on the coast, all of our maritime museums are doing wonderful programs. At the North Carolina Maritime Museum in Beaufort, they're having Pirates Day. So if you go down there, they can teach you to talk like and walk like a pirate. So I want you to try that out. There'll be a family scavenger hunt that begins at 10 o'clock. Children will have a chance to have lunch with the pirate at noon. So there'll be just a wide range of things and a great exhibit there. If you go to Western North Carolina, they can join me in Weaverville at our home place of Governor Zebulon Vance, and they'll be premiering a one-act play on the life of Governor Vance. I'm looking forward to having a chance to experience that. But in addition, they'll have a number of other activities that'll be taking place. And at Bennett Place in Durham, it's a wonderful chance to bring history and activities together. Their program is called Books, Banjos, and Brogans, and they're going to have authors who are telling engaging stories about their works. They'll have Civil War soldier reenactors who'll be roaming about, and wonderful banjo playing going on. So it doesn't matter where you stop at any of those sites, there's going to be something very special going on in addition to the ordinary, that's not a good word to use, the regular exhibits and programming that they always have in place.
What do you hope that visitors take away when they go to one of the historic sites or one of the state's museums?
Oh, I think I want them to come away with feeling wonderful about realizing what a rich history our state has, and it truly does. I tell folks that other states envy the wonderful resources that we have in North Carolina. I hope they will appreciate the commitment that our state has made to preserving and protecting those wonderful resources, and that they'll feel like they've really gotten a great value as a citizen, the opportunity to experience history where it happened, to see wonderful exhibits at our museums, to have a chance to see artifacts that help to tell our history, and that they come away feeling very good about the commitment that our state has made to preserving these wonderful assets.
You also recently had the opportunity to shine the spotlight on the arts in North Carolina when you announced a series of grants, $6.4 million in total, going to various arts organizations and projects across the state. Tell us about this program and what you hope to accomplish with the grants.
Well, our North Carolina Arts Council grants touch every county in North Carolina, and that's something that we're very, very proud of. We're supporting arts programming that touches over 9 million people every year, and almost 3 million of those are children, giving them an opportunity to experience music and art and dance, and to have a chance to see these wonderful assets that we have and to experience them up close. 600,000 of those grants are actually designated for arts and education programs. we believe that the opportunity for our children to experience arts in their educational day and to have it integrated throughout the curriculum is something very important that we want to be focused on. So we're very excited about that singular focus that we're going to put on arts and education this year. But every single community receives what is called grassroots Arts Council grants to help them grow their local assets. As I travel the state, one of the things that becomes apparent to me is how unique and special every single community is. And these grants really help to focus on that, focus on our artists, and it's just a wide range of programs that are being supported by our Arts Council grants.
All state agencies this fiscal year are having to deal with budget cuts as state lawmakers have worked to balance the state's budget. How did the North Carolina Department of Cultural Resources fare in the budget for this fiscal year?
Well, we took cuts just as we have the past prior 2 years and as have every single department within state government. Our Arts Council grants, for instance, were cut 15% over last year's grants. What we've tried to do is to figure out how we can reduce the impact of that as much as possible on the citizens of North Carolina. We've done a number of things to help address that. The department as a whole is operating with fewer operating dollars. We haven't had to close any of our historic sites or our museums, but we are having to make decisions about reducing hours or cutting back on programming. But I'm real pleased that they're all up and operating, and we're trying to lessen the impact to our citizens to keep our resources as available as possible. But like everyone, we've taken pretty significant cuts. When we look at our cuts over the past 3 years, we've had to reduce our operating costs by almost 60%. So to say that we're struggling is probably an understatement, but to say that we are moving forward and we continue to have great programs is still a fact, and we hope to continue to be able to do that. And we're grateful for continued support, and we're grateful for the citizens of our state who really understand and appreciate the value of the Department of Cultural Resources and the work that we do through all of our divisions.
And as you look ahead towards the fall, what are some other projects that you've got going on, and what do you want people across the state to know about the work of the North Carolina Department of Cultural Resources?
Well, I want them to know that this department is very much engaged in helping to grow the creative economy of our state. We know that today it's about growing jobs, it's about growing communities, and the creative economy of the state is a very vital and important part of that. We know today, for instance, that almost 6% of our state's employment is in the creative economy, and that sector produces goods and services of almost $41 billion each year. So it's an important part of what we do. We are engaged in helping to create dynamic communities where people want to move businesses, want to grow businesses, because we know that today people decide where they want to live and then they decide where they want to work. So we want to make sure that every corner of the state has communities and towns, big and small, where people can look around and say, this is a place where I could live, this is a place where I could move my business and see it growing. And so we are very much engaged in trying to help to grow and sustain our creative economy in North Carolina.
If our viewers want to connect up with the work that you're doing at the department and learn more about the second Saturday event coming up, what do they need to do?
Well, it's that good old website. I would urge them to go to our website, NC-Culture, C-U-L-T-U-R-E, ncculture.com. And as we're talking about Second Saturdays, if they'll click on the Second Saturdays emblem, they'll be able to look at all of our sites and see exactly what the programming is. And some folks will probably go to one location and spend a few hours. Others may want to do like I'm doing Saturday and visit a number of sites. So there's going to be something that's close by, that's going to be engaging and interesting. It's a great value for families, lots of children's activities. So we hope folks will come out and enjoy the history of our state and have a little fun at the same time.
Secretary Carlisle, thank you so much for sharing all of this information with us.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.